Alrighty, boys. Welcome to the Zuck guide. I've finally decided to make one for you guys. This is a sub 20 run. It's not perfect, but it's okay. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll try and bookmark the video into wave by wave, and I'll just give you guys the lure and ability information you guys might want or need. So let's get the run started. It's a pre-recorded run, and I'm just going to do some commentary over the top. So hopefully the quality's good. It's my first time making YouTube videos in many, many, many years. So let's see how we go. All right, let's start it up. Make sure you check hard mode, obviously. We don't want to be doing normal mode. And yeah, we kill this guy up here in the corner first. However you see fit. I usually combust him first, but I messed up. And then we Vuln and Magma the ground in the middle of the arena. Spread Corruption, and then charge our Dedo. Run forward, and then tag the bird at the back with your Tsunami, and that will clear the wave. Now we kill this Ranger here first. And then kill this Ranger second. Then we're going to run into the ability of the arena, and similar to the first wave, we're going to Vuln the ground, Magma the ground, Spread Corruption, tag the big guy with Chain Coroming, and then Omnipower, and that should clear out that mob 9 out of 10 times. Alright, so we kill the bird here with our staff spec, run back and build to 100 as fast as we can. You can drink your A-pot there, and then drop your sun. I'm going to kill this ranger here off to the side. And then kill the other ranger. Keep your prey melee on here. Maybe you could probably activate your Excalibur as well to make sure you try and stay as healthy as you can. Then we're going to spread Corruption, which I didn't do. So we're going to chain Coroming into Omni, and then just finish the rest of these guys off with chain. Alright, the sun is just about to die, so we can't make use of it, so we run up here and Vuln Magma the ground. Target Cyclist fix this guy. We had to move early because the firewall was coming. We just run over here and stand at like the peak of this rock, and that will allow the ranger to start walking up towards you. I typically Omni him to break his defenses. Make sure he's vulned, and then just finish him off whichever way you see fit. Surge forward, and then surge across. Stand inside this guy's shield and tag him to bust it, and try and drop your Vuln at the same time. And then we Tsunami and Staff spec here, and then try and build back up to 100%. Then we get up to the boss, try not to die there like I nearly did, and hit the button, drop your sun, and sigil into tendrils. Make sure you're wielding your staff there so you're getting 2H autos off, and based on your adren, you're just going to basically wild magic Asphyx, or if you've got heaps of adren, you can ABS spec there too. Alright, so we drop a shard at the end of that, and then make sure we're centered, put our Coroming on, drop our dummy, you guys know this stuff, and then Omni to finish the minions off, and then you always attack the minion that has got the smallest hit from the chain, because that's going to be likely the one that lives. So Vuln Magma the ground, kill this ranger first, surge over here and stand on that peak of that rock again, same as the other phase. And kill this ranger, and then kill this ranger. We're gonna let the bird come down from the south. You can see the bird's coming down. Now he's coming down, we surge over, and then Dedo these guys. I should have dragged the Jad a little bit earlier there, but I wasn't standing in the right square, but that doesn't matter. Basically just surge through him and Vuln him. Drop your sun, and unfortunately in this lure, they're all in a straight line, so chain won't hit very well if I use it on the Jad. So I chain the big melee guy, and that should hit more targets anyway. So you chain Omni, and then as the mobs move down, you can just chain Omni the other big guy as well if your mobs are in a straight line like that. Usually you'd like to get them spread a little bit more so your chain works more effectively, but in this instance my lure wasn't too good. Alright, same as usual, Vol Magma the ground. Kill the mage off, and then you attack the bird off to the right there with Combust and Corruption. Run into the corner and chain Tsunami, and that will finish off the birds. Unfortunately, I was just short on that bird, so I have to tag him. So you Staff Spec, Vol on the ground, and then Tendrils the big guy. And once he's cleared, you run forward, and then Tsunami one of the... sorry, not Tsunami. You Corruption one of these mobs, run into the corner to lure them all over, and then Chain and Omni. That will clear out most of that. And just work up to another Chain Wild Magic or something along those lines here to finish these mobs off. I Chain G-Staffed in that instance. Make sure you got some food and stuff in your inventory. Chain Magma on the ground like usual. Kill the ranger first, and then you'll kill the major off to the left second. Pay attention to the top of the screen here, because there's going to be a ranger that just spawned in. See how I run to the right, and the ranger at the very top of your screen stays behind that rock on the right-hand side. That's where you want him to be, because you're going to do the lure off here to the right-hand side, and if he gets on the left, he'll get trapped. So we just Tsunami Staff Spec the big guy. And we're going to Tendrils for our Adren. Unfortunately, he was nearly dead, so he didn't get much Adren there. But that ranger starts walking down from the top of the screen. So you can surge across here, build up to 100, and drop your Sun. And then surge back to the left against the wall, and that will drag all the mobs together nicely. You can hit your Devo now. Make sure you chain, and you've got your Toggle Ring on, chain with Coroming, and then it's just into an Omni, and that clears out the majority of that. And you don't take much damage there because your devotion is up for the vast majority of the time. All 6 of them are attacking you. So in this instance, this wave was decently cleared. So I have 11 seconds left on my Sun, so I can Vol Magma the ground here in preparation for this mob spawning, and then you target Cycle Asphyx to break him. He pretty much gets finished off here, so instead of going right like I usually do, I surge down and then just Omni to break the shield, because I don't need to wait the extra time to lure that guy up, because I had the Sun to kill the melee guy quick. So, and then just the same as the other wave, run MD, drop a Voln, Tsunami and Staff Spec, build up to 100 as best you can. Sometimes it's hard if you don't get the crits there. Surge BD, and attack the Zuck, and Freedom to break the mage's bleed. You're at 100, so you can hit the button, run to the middle, and drop your Sun. I always stand off to the side there, because if he drops a firewall, then it allows you to run into the middle and not lose your Sun, so that's useful. In this instance, I had plenty of Adren, so I got an ABS spec off, and as usual, you drop a shard right at the end there. Alright, Vol on the ground and target Cycle Omni, and I Asphyxed in this instance because I had the Adren. If you're not 50, you can just G-Staff to finish him off. Kill the mage first and kill the bird second. You just Combust and Corrupt him. Unfortunately, my hits were quite small, so he didn't actually die. Usually he does. Target Cycle Smoke Cloud the Jad, Tsunami, and Staff Spec. Surge through. Make sure when you're surging through, you do it when the Jad is mid doing an attack, because otherwise, if he's just about to do an attack and you surge through and you're MD, he will melee swipe you. So, yep, just finish the Jad off, and then Surge BD across, and drop your Sun. Unfortunately, in this wave, my positioning was not ideal because my chain wasn't working, and then the Jad also became immune through the mage specs. Typically that doesn't happen. In this case it did, so it just took a little bit longer to clear the wave. But usually the melee guy will get stuck behind the Jad, so he will never get a chance to touch you. But for this wave, you're pretty much just going to chain the Jad as much as you can. And unfortunately here my chains weren't actually hitting the mages there off to my right, so just a little bit of spaghetti code for you, I think. Alright, so yeah, we just kill the bird, run across, roll on the ground, and then Omni the Ranger. I pretty much just going to Tsunami Staff Spec here as fast as possible. We actually didn't Tsunami. Typically I would Tsunami these waves. It seems as though maybe I tried to do it and didn't have the Adren during this wave, but you would usually Tsunami Staff Spec. Alright, so drop your sun, and then you can surge through to lure the mobs kind of down towards you, towards your sun a little bit. And then get back in the sun, and you're just going to chain and Omni. Good opportunity to shard the boss there, but I didn't, so it is what it is. Alright, we kill this ranger first, and we're going to Tsunami Staff Spec pretty much as soon as possible. I probably should have done a little bit earlier there, but I'll probably do it now. Yep, there's the Tsunami and Staff Spec. Alright, we just surge through and Sigil Tendrils this guy, and that should get you pretty close to 100% Adren, thanks to your Tsunami. Alright, we're running across to the side, drop our sun, attack this major here. Refresh your weapon poison, drink your overload, and then drop it, because you're going to get a new one out of your yak, and there's only one dose left anyway. At least that's what I do. And then, yeah, you just run down to the south there to lure all the mobs in close to you. Run back in here, Devotion, Chain, and Omni. And that will clear out a good chunk of that. Unfortunately, my lure there wasn't ideal. They should have been probably bunched a little bit tighter together. But maybe I was a little bit impatient with my lure and I ran back to my sun too early. To avoid that, the longer the time you spend to the south will be the tighter they kind of bunch in together. And then, yeah, wave 13 is just the same as any other repeat wave. Standing at the peak of this rock, as I typically do, and that will allow the ranger to come up towards me. I'm going to vol on the ground and then bust his shield with Omni. Unfortunately, I tried to put my staff on there, but my inventory was full, so I ended up killing him entirely with Wand and Orb, but it doesn't really matter. Probably only lost a second or two. And then, yeah, same as usual, Tsunami Staff Spec. You can Excal there, and make sure you've re-upped your Animate Dead. Surge BD up. Firewall's being dropped, so you can just Freedom, Vuln, hit the button, drop your sun. And then Sigil Tendrils. And dismiss your yak here, summon your Ripper. You can Omni for this phase because you don't need it for the challenge. And then just build back to 100, drop your shard, summon your Ripper, put your scrolls in it. And if you're 100, you can just put your Wand and Defender on. If you're using a tier 80 Defender with Plan Defeat like I am, you're just going to want to Cade basically as soon as that special attack from that little minion is about to hit you. Because then your Cade will last the entirety of the challenge. And then a bit of inventory management while I was doing that. Vuln Magma in the ground, surge across. We Vengeance the first Jad, so we tank a hit. And then just Omni Wild Magic into Conk. And then we're just going to finish with Tsunami Staff Spec to kill the other two. Run along the wall here and then attack this one, throw your Vuln and Tendrils, provided you got the Adren. And then ABS Spec, that will kill this one off pretty quickly. Surge through, Vuln the ground, target Cycle Smoke Cloud. And Omni again while you're still under Staff Spec, and will be a good bit of damage. Unfortunately I didn't crit at all, but shit happens. Just take an opportunity here to throw a shard at the boss. It's probably a straight waste of time because you really don't need to do that. But what you want to do here is make sure that your cooldowns are not going to affect your Har-Aken rotation. If you Staff Spec too late, you're going to have problems with Har-Aken. So yeah, you just I pick a side for Har-Aken because then at least I have a 50-50 chance of not having to move. Whereas if you stand in the middle, you've got to move no matter what. And as soon as he spawns, I'm just target cycle smoke clouding, drop the sun, A-pot tsunami, staff spec, and we're just going to avoid the specs. It's just a tendrils omni and wild magic is fix. Throw a staff spec or two in there if you've got the adren for it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. With this, you absolutely cannot phase Har-Aken if your ABS has more than 30 seconds on cooldown. So I phase Har-Aken there with 25, and that's pretty much perfect timing. Alright, so I use Crypt Bloom for Zuck Fight because it allows me to do it the lazy way. I pretty much camp Soul Split for the whole thing. So yeah, just Smoke Cloud with a Natural Instinct, drop another shard, run to the middle here, bomb the ground, and get your sun going. Pretty much going to Tsunami and Staff Spec, B-Ring and ABS Necklace on, Sigil Tendrils, and you're going to Omni, and then depending on your adren here, you're pretty much just going to Wild Magic Asphyx or Staff Spec if you've got heaps of adren. I think I was a little bit lacking adren here. And the way I do it, I'm pretty much freedoming now, the Mage Bleed, and then disrupt the bomb. My Zuck method's a little bit unconventional. If you do it your own way, feel free. But I find that a 2-cycle Zuck with my method is probably about a 20% chance, maybe. It just kind of depends on crits. So yeah, I restore potion there to make sure I get my HP levels back, and then drop a shard on Zuck. Kill this guy by stunning him. I'm sure you guys have seen this pizza time spec 1,000 times at this point, so you pretty much know exactly what's going on here. Re-Smoke Cloud the boss there, it's a good opportunity to do it. If you're not using SGB, you can Ingenuity of the Humans Bladed Dive and deal damage to that guy, and that will be the first ability he needs to break his shield. So yeah, you just re-Vuln Bomb, Magma, you build a little bit here before you hit the button, and then Tsunami A-Pot, Staff Spec, Sigil Tendrils. And pretty much just going to juice your Ripper here, and Omni, Shatter, Staff Spec, depending on how much adren you have. Conk is extremely useful because it's likely to crit, so you're going to get a crap ton of adren from that. And just try to continue to juice your Staff Spec wherever you can. And drink your Spiritual Prayers for your Ripper. And then yeah, I freedom that Mage Bleed and disrupt the bomb hit just as it's about to happen. It's usually pretty tight timing, like you do end up low HP for most of the time, but you get a feel for the timing, and it shouldn't kill you too often. Well, it basically never kills me at this point, because once you understand the timing, it'll work the same every single kill. Alright, so at this stage, I got the boss down to 169k HP. So I'm pretty happy just putting my Tectonic on at this point to phase him for that last 69k HP that he needs to be phased. So Tectonic will be on for the rest of the fight. And then yeah, just Ingenuity of the Humans and Bladed Dive. So I dealt a melee damage hit there, and then you can Natty. You're going to want to try and Sun in this kind of general area to make the Conduit quite a bit faster, because your sun will be up for a good chunk of the Conduit phase. Tsunami Staff Spec, and then Sigil's Tendril for your adren, and then Vuln the Ground Freedom to make sure you don't have a Mage Bleed, and then target cycle Omni and Wild Magic, and just surge through it. Try and remember to Vuln the Ground every single Conduit if you can, and that first one there, I just Reprisal and Vitality Potion. I pretty much just run in a straight line for the most part, and then just surge as needed. you get a feel for how you prefer to do your Conduit phase. I reso that bomb hit. Unfortunately, I surged a bit late there, so I got tagged, but it's not a big deal because I disrupt this bomb hit anyway, so Soul Split will keep me healthy. I re-sun here. You could meta if you wanted to. Get the Tsunami off and the Staff spec. And that makes the last phase of the Conduit very, very easy. Whack the Staff back on and Omni. And that's pretty much it. So we got a sub 20 run there with a 3 cycle Zuck, so it's a pretty decent kill time. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. You can PM me in game if you have questions. My PM's pretty much always on. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. And talk to you guys next time.